Hello everybody, Timothy Bailey from Project Learn. Today we're going to make a video looking at leaving professional, helpful voicemail messages. Right? When you call and the person you want to talk to is not there, you leave a message. That's often called a voicemail or a voicemail message. And I have on the left 10 ideas to keep in mind when you're leaving even sort of casual voicemail messages for someone, right? There's certain things you still want to do. So number one, you want to think about who you are calling, right? You may need to identify that person because you're calling a business, and many people use that phone number. But it's even nice to identify the person if you're calling them directly. Number two, why are you calling, right? You should always think about this before you actually call, so that you don't spend a lot of time on the phone, right, trying to think about why you're calling. Number three, if you want, write out what you want to say if you need to, right? If there are several things, right, I want to talk about A, B, and C, right? And I write them down on the piece of paper so I remember while I'm talking about these things what I want to talk about next, right? It's always nicer to leave one voicemail message than to leave multiple voicemail messages, right? Sorry, I also wanted to talk about this, okay? Number four, be concise. Concise is a nice synonym meaning sort of direct, short, right? Not using up all of the time you're given on a voicemail message. I don't know how much time voicemails give you anymore, but in the past they used to just cut you off and then you would have to call and leave a second voicemail message. So be short, direct, right, to the point. Number five, be specific, right? What is it specifically you're asking? What specific time or day, right? Try not to be too general about things, right? I would like to come over to your house at 3 o'clock tomorrow, right? Now, that's different depending on your relationship or who you're calling, right? Sometimes you might, hey, we'd like to stop in and see you tomorrow, right? And then you could ask, right, can you tell us a time that would work for you? Things like that. So it all depends on the relationship and who you're calling. Number six, speak clearly, enunciate, right? The words should all be nice and clear what you're saying, not sort of mumbled and jumbled together. Also limit outside noise, right? Music, other things. If you need to step outside your house, if you need to turn off the TV or the music, right? Do that so that the message is clear. Say who you are. And I suggest repeating this, right? Saying it at the beginning, saying it at the end. So the person at both the beginning and the end gets to hear who it is they are talking to or will be talking to. Speak in a neutral tone, right? Sort of neutral, just even, right? Not one way or the other, not super excited, not super angry, things like that, not screaming, right? Not whispering too quietly, right? Just sort of all around neutral voice, right? The emotion isn't all over. The level of voice, the amount of sound isn't too high or too little, right? Neutral here, just completely really in the middle. Not flat, right? You should have the natural movement in your speaking, but also not yelling at the person, right? Or being too angry or such. Number nine, leave your contact information, your phone number. That's usually all that's required because you're trying to have a phone conversation. However, there are many times when it's also nice to leave your email address, right? So you might leave both. And the last one, number 10, be cordial. Cordial here meaning friendly, right? Professional, friendly. Of course, it depends on who you're talking to, right? If you're talking to a friend, the friendly nature of your call is probably going to be different than if you're calling your boss, right? So cordial here can be both professionally friendly and just friendly, socially friendly, right? With a friend or someone like that. Down here, there is a link right? The tinyurl.com, and then it has these letters. And you can read more about some of these ideas, right? I have a few scenarios. So scenario one, your daughter Wilma has a doctor's appointment at 9 o'clock. She will arrive at school at 10. She will miss her first class with Mr. Mann. You are calling the school secretary to let her know. Her name is Mrs. Mueller. So we've identified some of the things here that we want to do. Okay. So I'm going to dial in the number, right? And it's going to ring. And Mrs. Mueller is busy. Perhaps she's on another call. So I'm going to leave my message. Hello, Mrs. Mueller. This is Timothy Bailey. I am Wilma Bailey's father. I was calling to let you know that she has a doctor's appointment this morning at 9 o'clock. So she will miss Mr. Mann's first class. She will get to school about 10 o'clock. Thank you. Again, this is Timothy Bailey. My phone number is 330-988-7788. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. And again, right, Mrs. Mueller, perhaps I've met her before. We're friendly. I say hi, we say hello. She knows Wilma, things like that, right? So I'm not overly professional, right? I said bye-bye to her at the end, right? Whatever, I could say bye. It's less formal than what I would be if I was calling someone about a job, which is what number 2 will be. But I told her who I was twice. I gave her my phone number. She doesn't need my email address. I gave her my name twice. I gave her the important person, the most important person's name, right? The person I'm calling about, Wilma. I gave her both the first and the last name. Very specific. She has a doctor's appointment at 9. She will miss Mr. Mann's class. And then I did say she would be at school around 10 because perhaps it'll be a little earlier, perhaps a little later, right? Things like this are not always exactly at a certain time, right? Now the doctor's appointment is at 9, but her arrival at school may not be an exact time. Let's try another one. So scenario number 2, you had a job interview last Monday, and you are calling to thank the interviewer, Mrs. Norris, for interviewing you. You also wanted to see if there was any decision in terms of the job. So I'm going to call. And Mrs. Norris gave me her business card, so I have her direct phone number. Okay, so I'm calling. Hello, Mrs. Norris. This is Timothy Bailey. You interviewed me last Monday for the position of English teacher. I wanted to call and thank you for taking the time out of your day to interview me. I was very excited to hear about the job and the details that we discussed. I was also wanting to know if there had been any decision on the position or if you needed any further information from me. You can give me a call back. My phone number is 330-988-7788. Again, this is Timothy Bailey. Thank you very much. Right. So, again, I said who I was. I said a little bit about the situation, right, to remind her. Maybe she interviewed a lot of people. And so maybe my name isn't ringing a bell. It's not familiar to her because of just the number of people that she interviewed. So I am reminding her, you interviewed me for this job, English teacher, last Monday. Okay. I did 2 things. I thanked her for interviewing me, taking the time, right? Those things are just nice to add, right? Taking the time to interview me out of your busy day, right? They are just sort of niceties to add when you're leaving a professional email. I also did another thing. 2 more things sort of tied together. I wanted to know if there was a decision, so I asked if there had been a decision. Mrs. Norris might call back and she might tell me or leave a message, we still have more interviews, or yes, we're moving on to another phase. We'd like to bring you in for a second interview, right? So I am sort of trying to get that information from her. And when she calls, right, she will tell me that or leave that message. I also I tacked onto that my offering of anything more she might need, right? Now, if I did my job correctly for the interview with my resume and stuff, she probably doesn't need anything more. But it's always nice. It looks very nice to the person who interviewed you if you're willing to offer or provide more for them, right? And in the end, right, I said thank you, and that was sort of the end of that. All right, let's look at numbers 3. Right, so you want to attend ESL, English classes at Project Learn of Summit County. You would like to know about the classes and what you need to do to start. And for this one, I'm going to show you what not to do, because this is some of the messages that I get from students who no doubt are amazing, but I can't get a hold of them, right? So this is the incorrect voice message. So the student calls, hello, this is Timothy. I would like to know about your ESL classes. Thank you. Right, and they hang up, right? 2 things. One is you just gave me your first name, but even if you gave me your last name, that's not going to help, because I have no way to figure out who you are, or perhaps I can't spell your last name or your first name. The biggest problem is the lack of contact information, number 9, right? Your phone number. And for this instance, number 3, I would give your email too. I don't need to give that to Mrs. Norris, because Mrs. Norris has my entire resume, but I do provide, so she has it immediately, my phone number, right? I don't need to give her my email necessarily. But here, right, that would be a good thing, because in case the phone number doesn't work, right, maybe I give the email address. So let's try it again. Right. Oh, and I paused the phone call, right? You don't know who you're calling. Perhaps when you call here, there's not a name, or perhaps you got a flyer from me at an event, so you do know my name, okay? So if there's not a name, you can skip that part, right? You don't need to say like to whom it may concern or something like that, right? You can just sort of get on with the phone call, right? But imagine you do know me, right? Because I gave you my business card or something. Hello, this is Tony Smith, and I am calling for Timothy Bailey. I'm calling about the ESL classes that Project Learn of Summit County offers. I would like to know some more information about those classes. When are they? Where are they? How much do they cost? I heard they're free, so that's exciting. Please just give me a phone call at 330-218-7504. Again, my name is Tony Smith, and I am calling about ESL classes. My email address is also tonysmith@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a great day. Right. Notice there on that one, right? I forgot my email. I thought about it at the end. That's okay, right? Just say also, right? Or my email address is, you can add that. And then again, end, right? Being cordial, right? Thank you. Have a great day. So I gave my name. I gave my phone number. The reason I'm calling, I'm curious about classes. I heard about them. I heard they're free. I would like some more general information. And I specified, right? Days and times and locations, right? Phone number, email, name again, and that's it. And so if I get a message like that, I have 2 ways to contact you: your phone number and your email. One of them or both of them should work. I know why you are calling me or contacting me, and I can get you the information you want, right? I can describe the classes, what we offer, right? Healthcare English, business English, academic English, the different levels. I can tell you the locations: North Hill, downtown, St. Vincent, St. Mary. I can tell you all of that information because I know what you want. Next time you're leaving a voicemail message, think about these 10 things. Think about the scenarios we went through. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.